money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. Kicking off this hour, talking NFL. It is Wednesdays with Vito's son. The great Sal Paolantonio joins the program from ESPN. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Doing really well.
Good,
you are covering the Ravens again this week. You saw them last week up close and personal. I thought DeMeco Ryans' game plan in the first half was awesome. They were going to blitz Lamar Jackson, and it worked. What did you see watching that game in the second half, the adjustments the Ravens made, because it was never a problem after halftime?
Two things. Isaiah Likely was open underneath in the first half, and Lamar Jackson was ignoring him and trying to throw the ball downfield. In the second half, first big pass play was to Isaiah Likely. First touchdown pass was to Isaiah Likely. It was clear, and John Harbaugh said as much after the game, all we had to do is hit the underneath receivers who were open. The second thing, Lamar Jackson was pulling the ball back on the zone read runs, keeping it for himself, and that wasn't working. In the second half, he just allowed the run game to flow naturally through his running backs, and that opened things up.
So they took him out in a body bag in that second half. Texans were a great story, obviously. Fun to watch this year. Stroud's going to be the real deal. But now the Ravens move on from a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback to get this team, the defending champs with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. The number is now up to 4.
Which is astonishing to me. I am surprised by that.
Okay.
I really am. Considering Mahomes went into Buffalo and won that game, I actually thought at the beginning when it was, I believe it started at 3. Am I wrong about that?
No, it was 3 minus 120. You're correct.
Yeah, when it started at 3, I thought, boy, oh boy, people are going to bet this down. But it has gone the other direction. That shocks me. But go ahead. Why do you think that is?
Well, they're a complete team. They're very good on offense and on defense. And I will throw this at you. Do you think any of their previous matchups against teams where the number was in the same range has anything to do with this outcome? Because the Ravens pounded teams this year when they were a small favorite.
Yeah. When they were a 3.5 favorite against the Lions, they pounded them by 32. When they were a 3.5 favorite against the Dolphins, they pounded them by 37 at home. And they have double-digit wins against 7 teams with winning records this season. They have come to the party. That must be the deal. Okay, I understand trends, though, guys. I get trends. But I love matchups, and I'm always afraid of Patrick Mahomes. I'm always afraid of Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And he proved by going up to Buffalo. Listen, the field goal was wide right. I get it. I understand that. He made enough plays, however, specifically to his old battery mate, Travis Kelce, where you're saying, well, you can't kill this guy. You can't put a stake in his heart.
I think you're giving him too much credit, though. I understand what he's done in his career, but it was a Buffalo team decimated by injury. It was a Miami team that can't win in the cold and decimated by injury. You just said it, though. I mean, they are at their best at home when they play good teams, and they blow them out in all these games. So won't that happen? I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but can I expect a 7 to 10 point win? And again, ground and pound, and I ran for 230 against Houston?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. You got really smart coaches over there. Steve Spagnuolo is a really smart coach who is capable of adjusting to any player, including Lamar Jackson, and what they do. Listen, Ravens are a complete team. I love the Ravens. But when you're going against Patrick Mahomes, going to the Hall of Fame, Travis Kelce, going to the Hall of Fame, Chris Jones, on his way to a Hall of Fame career, Steve Spagnuolo, one of the great defensive coordinators we have in the NFL. Andy Reid, going to the Hall of Fame. And they've done it at the highest levels for a long time. I just can't bet big on one team like the Ravens, even though the history and the trends say otherwise. I'm very, very, very wary of that.
Do you think the Chiefs and Isaiah Pacheco are going to be able to get the ground game going on the road against this defense?
Well, you know I love Isaiah Pacheco. Why? Vineland, New Jersey, Rutgers University. You know I love him.
Huh?
You know that he played in the last Super Bowl against the Eagles with a torn labrum. Did you know that? He played in that game, and he had to have shoulder surgery right after the game. He had a torn labrum in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. This guy is one tough you-know-what. And I love Isaiah Pacheco. I really do. But you're going up against Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. And those two guys are like having Derek Brooks times 2. They're that good. They are that good.
You know what?
I think they'll have trouble. I think they'll have trouble running the ball. But here's what I think. I think Patrick Mahomes will have the ability to have off-schedule plays against the Ravens. Those off-schedule plays were available to C.J. Stroud in the game last weekend, gentlemen, but he wasn't able to cash in. Doesn't have the experience level. Doesn't have an all-world tight end who knows how to get open in the seams of a zone defense. I think that Mahomes will have the opportunity to make off-schedule plays that will keep hope alive long enough for them to make this a game. And if they do that, listen, the Ravens were at 10-10 at halftime against Houston. 10-10 at halftime against Houston, and they had a come-to-Jesus moment in the locker room. I reported it. You saw me report it on SportsCenter, how Lamar Jackson went profane on everybody.
Yeah.
So this is Kansas City. This is not Houston. Listen, I love the Ravens. I still think they're the favorites to go to the Super Bowl, but I'm cautious. I'm cautious.
The legend Sal Paolantonio, ESPN NFL reporter, Uncle Sal, our guest. Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. What happens in the NFC title game? And what do you think if Debo plays and if he's close to 100%?
I don't think he's close to 100%. I think he will try like heck to play. I don't know how effective he will be if he does wind up playing. I think that's a wash. I don't think Deebo Samuel will be a significant factor in the football game. This is a game where you have to look at the Detroit Lions and the energy that they have on their offensive line and their defensive line. Their defensive line and the way let's give Aaron Glenn some credit. I realize he was coaching up against a very young offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, and for some reason they only had 5 blocking 6, and they never really helped out Baker Mayfield. I don't understand that. That was a major, major problem. And Kyle Shanahan won't let that happen to Brock Purdy. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on a second. Didn't he let that happen to Brock Purdy in Philadelphia last year? I stand corrected. I'm being facetious. Of course, Kyle Shanahan has always done that. He's always left his quarterbacks out on an island. He's always allowed them to get hit too much. It happened in the Super Bowl when they played Kansas City. This is the problem that Kyle Shanahan has always had in big games. He doesn't do a good job of protecting his quarterbacks. It happened against Kansas City. It happened against Philadelphia. You saw it a little bit last week where Brock Purdy couldn't get in from a good launch point. And if he doesn't block up Detroit's defensive line, they will lose that football game.
Lose it outright. I think the ground game for the Lions, too, is going to be a major factor against this 49ers defense. So you told me to ask you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I think it's going to be a combo of Montgomery and Gibbs. Should be anyway, pretty much. I mean, how did Aaron Jones not have 25, 27, 30 carries in that game Saturday, Sal?
I mean, come on, seriously. And we talked about it. We talked about it on your program, that Aaron Jones was going to be the key against Dallas, and he was the big key against Dallas. I said before the Dallas game, watch Aaron Jones, and he was a big key. And then you go on the road to San Francisco, and you holster your biggest weapon. I don't get it.
So when we're breaking bread in 2 weeks out here, getting ready for the Super Bowl, and we're, at Capos or Bootleggers or Carbone, you name it, we're talking about a matchup in the Super Bowl at Allegiant Stadium featuring which two teams?
Oh, wow. You know what? I am going to go Ravens and Niners. I'm going chalk.
But you expect 2 close games the way it sounds. I
do. I do expect 2 close games. 2 tough, close games. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I go Ravens and Niners in the Super Bowl. And I'm looking for. Did you say Carbones? If it says Carbones on it, I'm going to Carbones.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That's a good one. It's a pretty popular one out here in town.
Big portion, Sal. Yeah. Big portion. Hey, you mentioned last week you play basketball. How's your jump shot?
Oh, I play basketball like a football player.
Oh, you're bully ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're beating guys up, huh?
All right.
It's throwing elbows?
I got a weak jump shot, but I'm inside. I'm like Dennis Rodman. I'm going for the extra rebound.
All right. Well, okay, so which dog do you like more with the points? Do you like the Chiefs plus the 4 or the Lions plus the 7 or equally the same?
Oh, I like the Lions plus the 7, definitely.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent, as always. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. Talk to you
Beautiful.
soon. The great Sal Paolantonio with us from ESPN.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, he nailed it, though. It's what Baltimore has done against teams with a winning record. Houston 25-9, 34-10, beat the Bengals by 14, beat Cleveland by 25.
Yeah.
I know you didn't have Watson in that game. They beat Detroit 38-6, Seattle by 34. They beat Jacksonville by 16, the Niners. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, he likes Baltimore, but he said, I'm cautious because of Mahomes, and he's all about matchups. He broke it down there for you beautifully. Yeah. And then he thinks the Lions are live as well, but he likes the Niners to win and squeak by in a close game. Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Something that Sal would appreciate greatly coming up next, Real or Fugazi. They're going to be dangerous yet again after making a move. We'll tell you what it is next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Put the VSiN experts to work for you. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up for the VSiN Pro annual subscription. First year, $199. Promo code FTN. Daily best bets, leaderboard, who has the hot hand, betting split show you with the money and bets are moving every game, dog videos, the upcoming Super Bowl betting guide, promo code FTM, your first year for $199. Sign up today, vsin.com/subscribe. Here we go.
Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard are here to make you a friend of ours.
That would mean you were made, guy.
Investigating what is and isn't legit.
Because that's a fugazi. All right? That's a fugazi. I looked at it for 2 seconds.
Seeing through the lines to make you a better.
I know you know. And I know you know I know you know.
The FTM Army is being sent for.
In our thing, you get sent for, you go in alive, you come out dead. And it's your best friend that does it.
These two wise guys would never steer you wrong.
Forget about it.
This is Real or Fugazi on Follow the Money.
Oh, beautiful. A+. So good with the open. That is excellent. Okay. The more you dig into this, the more it stinks. The Todd Bowles decision not to call a timeout on Sunday and his doubling down yesterday saying the game is over needs to get more attention. Real or Fugazi?
Well, yeah, how is this not a bigger story?
Yeah.
Also, like if you thought, and I think many people did, if you had the idea that Todd Bowles was not a good coach anyway from his time in New York, this is the kind of thing that you need to actually like make a checklist and say, no, I'm going to knock him down even another tier after this. The game is over with anyway. With that much time on the clock, they took a knee to make it 4th and 13, and you have plenty of time to actually get the ball back, and crazier things have happened. How are you okay with that, with a trip to the NFC Championship game on the line? The game should never be over.
He also said, well, we were down 11. He was giving Money Badger it was a 49-yard field goal. You were not down 11. He's 5 of 13 career from 50+. So if he misses, you're down 8 near midfield with 30 seconds. Anything's possible. I just can't believe he's just like, oh, it's over. And the other thing, it reminds me of Leonard Hamilton, where Leonard Hamilton, to go to the Final Four against Michigan, down 4 with 11 seconds, he didn't foul. Mm-hmm. Just astonished, perplexed by Dana Jacobson afterwards. Like, what? Why didn't we foul? The game was over.
You got mad at him.
Yes. Michigan was 66% from the line that year and 326 in the country shooting free throws. They had already missed 4 field goals in the previous 90 seconds. in the same tournament, Kansas State was down 14 with 30 seconds, and they were fouling against Loyola of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to the Final Four. You're down 4 with 11 seconds, and you don't foul?
Was that the same tournament that Virginia came back with no time on the clock to win games?
In a regular season game.
Regular season, because
Virginia was down 4 with 5 seconds and won.
Virginia also did that the year they came back after losing as a 1 seed, and they won the whole thing. I was watching the game on the Strip that night with no volume, and I'm just imagine my surprise. I'm like, wait a second, what am I missing here? It says they have a timeout. They're down by 4, and you're not going to foul, and they can go to the Final Four?
The same people people love to argue, and there's a lot of stupidity out there. But the game is over, crowd. What are you talking about? You can't just punt on a game. When you can throw a Hail Mary, there could be a PI, whatever.
Oh.
And it's the same crowd with the Florida State, Michigan. It's a 4-point game with 10 seconds. Kids miss free throws all the time.
I mean, for several reasons now, and for many years, I've been screaming about how much I hate the PI rule in the NFL. That could happen where you get, I don't know, a defensive back to push a tight end down to the ground on a 48-yard Hail Mary down to the 20, and you get the flag, automatic first down, untimed down now, because you can't end a game on a defensive penalty. Of course you got to take a shot.
The game's over.
You
We're
might,
down
oh,
11.
by the way, you might get a roughing the passer.
Yeah. How about this? You could block the field goal, too. I love that he's just he goes, Badgley would have made it. We're down 11. It's a 49-yard field goal.
Yeah, no,
what are you talking about?
Actually, former players are now calling him out as well. And they have been so far this week. Because they were saying the same thing, breaking it down on film. Look at this. They have a timeout. Did he not think he had a timeout left? He knew he had a timeout because he talked about it.
Well, Dan Campbell owned that they made a mistake, too. They took the knees too quick.
Oh, yeah. Way too fast.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers would be great for the league. Is that real or fugazi?
It's 100% real. That would be awesome. And this needs to happen. Now, the reports are saying it's close and it's heading in that direction. I don't know what the holdup is. I mean, give the guy what he wants. For a couple of reasons. You have to become relevant and get people excited about. There are no Charger fans there. Nobody cares. And the other thing is you have to finally do something with that upgrade to go from Staley to Harbaugh and get this organization turned around. I am sick and tired of hearing about all the talent, and they can't do anything with it.
Right.
And it just goes back year after year after year. But the guy has won at every single stop. What he did at San Francisco, San Diego, Stanford. Right. And what he's done at Michigan, this should be done already. And it would be great for the league that Harbaugh would come back in the NFL and go to the Chargers in that market.
I think people who have a problem with Jim Harbaugh are not compartmentalizing the two separate issues here. One is if you're annoyed by the guy, that's fine. If you just think that over the years, the way that he talks, how much trouble he was in this year in Michigan, if you have an issue with him, that's a personal beef that you have with the guy. You cannot tie that in and ignore what he's been like as a head coach at any stop, anywhere, college or the NFL, because he does turn whatever program or team that he goes to into a winning program or organization. It just the facts are the facts at this point. Now we're 20 years into this. Mm-hmm. He does not fail. Now, Tom Telesco was hired yesterday as the new GM by the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the move because the guy can draft his ass off. He did a great job of drafting. He did not do a good job of hiring coaches. It was Mike McCoy into Anthony Lynn into Brandon Staley. If you're the Chargers, you need to wipe that stank off and get this guy ASAP.
Yep.
And you cannot allow him to go to any other team.
Yep. This will be a record trade deadline in the NBA, February 9th. Real or fugazi?
I also think that that's real because unlike previous years, again, Pauly, this sport is wide open to who knows how many teams for a chance to make a deep run and get to the NBA Finals. And again, I think the key here is when you look at teams like Miami making a move yesterday, more on that coming up in a second, the Knicks making a move, the Pacers making a move in the Eastern Conference alone, and at the very top, the highest tier in the NBA of the Eastern Conference, it goes Celtics, and then there's maybe a drop-off, and then I think the Sixers and Bucks are very close. But then there's another drop-off before you get to the teams I just talked about. If those teams below them are making a move, well, then everybody else above them, I think, they're going to want to match and not be left out in the cold.
I think the Lakers have to make a trade, a big trade, and I think they will. But the names that could be, and we've already seen so many trades and moves, that I think you're going to see a lot of activity and a lot of teams going for it.
Is that going to be enough to put them over the hump in the Western Conference?
I don't think they match up well against Denver and other teams. I don't think they match up well against the Clippers.
No, neither do I.
Maybe Minnesota as well, although they're young. But that's part of the intrigue of the play. Like, can OKC overcome this young roster and lack of experience to get it done?
Yep. So the Heat traded for guard Terry Rozier yesterday. Watch out. They're going to be dangerous yet again come playoff time. Real or Fugazi?
Fugazi.
Not this year?
Well, no, they're going to be dangerous no matter what because of Spoelstra. They're a great organization, and Heat culture is real. They're always a tough out, and they're going to give someone a headache. You know, you could say that last year was a bit of a fluke because these guys just got hot at the right time in terms of the three-point shooting, and they can't duplicate that. I'm not in love with Rozier's game, but they're no matter who they go against, though, they're going to give someone fits because there is regular season Jimmy Butler and playoff Jimmy Butler.
Sure.
And
Now,
playoff Jimmy Butler's a beast.
Now, you might not like Rozier's game, but here's the difference between bringing in that guy mid-season to the Heat and why Adrian Griffin lost the job in Milwaukee.
Okay.
First-year head coach. When he was signed, it was not Damian Lillard and Freak trying to figure that out on the job. He thought it was going to be the same team we've had now over the last 3 or 4 years, including Drew Holiday. He was unable to make it work to the point of keeping his job. If I trust anybody in the association to make it work mid-season with a new player, it would be Eric Spoelstra.
Right. And he will outcoach whoever he goes against.
He's got the coaching advantage.
Edge. Yes.
Yeah. I can't wait. The trade deadline is going to be, it should be anyway, absolutely massive. CeeDee Lamb's mom said Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, quote, isn't it, on Facebook.
Yes.
Real or Fugazi?
Oh, she's right, but it's also a headache for the organization now that she has him calling him out publicly. But she's exactly right, he isn't it? I mean, he's covered one spread in the playoffs, and he only has a couple playoff wins.
The problem is they're not going to be able to upgrade at quarterback. But what do you do?
That's hard to do, yes, but also I wouldn't give him a long-term deal. I'm not going to double down and then extend him, and then you have a lame duck coach already with McCarthy. Maybe Jerry's thinking, when I go a different direction with the head coach, which he should have done, maybe he can fix. Can you fix Dak? I don't think you can. He's a turnover machine. He's showing you who he is every single big game.
The moment continues to be too big for him.
That's right. Exactly right.
And
the mistakes are coming. He's
too deep into his
up.
career for that to happen.
Too amped up. Inaccurate, all over, forcing the ball to Lamb early, and then the pick six.
All right, the Farmers Insurance starts today. PGA Tour. Jeff Sealey is going to break it down for us coming up next. His best outrights, matchups, placements. And if we know Jeff like I think we know Jeff, he's going to be on this guy at around 50-1.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We can't get enough of Omaha Steaks. You'll fall in love at first bite with their tender steaks, juicy burgers, air-chilled chicken, and more. You're going to love every bite. Omaha Steaks guarantee. When you go to omahasteaks.com/VSiN, you'll get 4 free air-chilled boneless chicken breast and 4 free rich, juicy boneless pork chops with your order. Minimum purchase may apply. Support our sponsors. Get up there. omahasteaks.com/VSiN. We've got action. Australian Open. Alcaraz lost the first 2 sets. He was down 5-2 in the third set. He was 16-1 in play. He rallied to win the third set. He's now $1.10 in play to win the match. Just to be alive now and win the third set. It was over.
Oh, yes, it was. All right. So for those of you who are unaware, the PGA Tour event starts today. It's the Farmers Insurance. Indy Jeff Sealey joins the program now. Follow him on X. He's at Cupmaker Jeff. And you get his podcast as well, the Cupmaker podcast. Jeff, thanks for the time as always. First of all, do you like this idea of a golf tournament starting one day early in the week and coming to its conclusion on Saturday rather than Sunday?
As a fan, I love it. If I was a player, I would hate it. Now, I mean, obviously, look, a lot of these guys are football fans too, right?
Yep.
But it's just one less day they get to get out in the course, one less day of prep. So yeah, I mean, as a fan though, I think it's tremendous, and I wish they would do it more often during the football season. But no, I think it's great. But what I don't love is the multiple course events, right? Like we talked about last week, and in another situation. Now this one is this is very similar. We got 2 different courses we're playing, and it just makes for a different handicap.
Yep. Okay. By the way, as a side note, if we had more PGA events like during the week, like let's say Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, to me that would be the absolute nuts. They can own the week. They're not going up against anything on the weekend then, right?
No, yeah. And can you imagine a Friday night, like it turned an ending on Friday night? Everyone's at the bar sweating their tickets.
I'd love it.
I mean, yeah, that would be phenomenal.
It's not an elevated event. And now look at the odds board. It shows that there's nobody like a Scotty Scheffler in here. No more Rahm, of course. There's no Rory. So then that's going to have an effect on some of these other players that you could typically get in the 16, 18, maybe 20 to 1 range, maybe a little bit even deeper down than that. So having said that, who kind of caught your eye with this course, their history here? Schauffele is 9 to 1. Max is 12 to 1. Morikawa and Cantlay are each 12 to 1.
Yeah, guys, I mean, if I was going to bet anyone in this range, it'd be Xander. I'm not betting anyone in this range. Xander, certainly you can make an argument. He has a second place finish here, a 13th, a 34th, and miscut are good, but not amazing from a guy who's a local who everyone says is the perfect fit for this course. So I'm not betting on him at 9 to 1. I could make a case for him in some matchups. But if you're playing DFS on DraftKings, he's probably my favorite in this range.
Okay, then how do you want to start filling out your card? How far do you want to go down the odds board, and which golfers do you want to look at?
Yeah, guys. I mean, I'm going to live in this mid range here, this 20 to 50 to 1 or so. There's a lot of guys here I really like. Starting with Tony Finau, insane course form from Tony Finau. He has finishes of T9, miscut, T2, T6, and T13. So, I mean, I love Tony Finau here as a top 10, top 20 bet. His current form is fine. It's not great. His wedges do look to be dialed in, so hopefully you won't have too many long putts. But interestingly enough, Finau grades out second over the last 36 months at Torrey Pines in total strokes gained. So I love a top 10. You can find top 10 plus 275 in some spots where ties pay full. I think we're going to see a lot of ties in a crowded leaderboard this week. Make sure you know your dead heat rules and your placement bets. But really like Tony Finau. And then Jason Day, who's 25 to 1. I think we're going to see his DFS ownership suppressed to like under 10% because of so many guys around here. And he won't pop in a lot of people's models. So a lot of everyone like me, we run models, and Day doesn't grade out great. But he's lost strokes off the tee and on approach on his last several events. The last one he actually looked good at was the Grant Thornton when he won with Lydia Ko a few weeks ago. But I think the most important thing to me is when I look at strokes gained at Torrey Pines in the last 36 rounds, Jason Day is number 1. He's finished 7th here, 3rd here, 16th, 5th. So he's got 3 top 10s in his last 5 trips here. Probably my favorite bet of the entire weekend would be a Jason Day top 20. I think that he's a very good DFS play, really safe bet in that top 20 or range. And then another guy I'm on who's going to be very popular in DFS and bets, Keegan Bradley, 35 to 1. I think he'll be the second most popular DFS play behind Xander. But he's actually become a good POA putter, and he comes in and with good form after a second at the Sony tournament. He probably should have closed out. And then he took second here last year. So you've got recent form, you've got some course form, you've got Keegan putting well in POA. So I think he's very live at 35 to 1 to win. And again, another guy, great top 20 play at plus 150.
Matt Humans likes Theegala. Do you also like Theegala, and what price, and make the case for him if you want to?
Yeah, he's my pick to win this week. Theegala, I bet him at 35 to 1. You can find him around that range. He grades out second in my model behind Xander. His form is very good. His course form is good. He has a 4th and a 25th here. Has a small gain off the tee, decent gain on approach, but really good short game, really good putting. I pretty much play him against anyone in matchups this week because I think I see a lot of times you can find him in positive spots. So I like him anywhere that he's on the plus side of the money on matchups. And I'm playing him my traditional top 20, top 10, 5 win. I think he's very live in all those markets. And then anyone that knows me knows I can't pass up a good Sepp Straka opportunity. PSA, he's still 80 to 1 at the Waste Management you can find on DraftKings. And here we can find him on a course where he has 2 top 20s and 4 appearances. He hasn't played since the Century where he finished 12th, but if his putter heats up, Straka can absolutely win this event. In the past 6 months, Straka's played 7 PGA Tour events, a couple overseas, and played in the Ryder Cup. He won the John Deere. He took second at the Open, took 14th at the Tour Championship, 10th at the Euro BMW, and 12th at the Century. So perhaps he doesn't play that often. Straka is consistently overlooked by bettors and DFS players. You hear me say it on this show all the time, but if you listen to me, you know about Sepp Straka, another guy I'm playing, top 20, top 10, top 5 in my usual de-escalating format. And I love him in any plus matchup this week. I've seen him against Jaeger in plus matchups. Jaeger makes a lot of cuts, but I prefer Straka this week over Jaeger.
Yeah, he was the guy that I was talking about going back 10 minutes ago. I said, if we know Indy Jeff like I think we know him, he's absolutely going to be on this guy around 45 or 50 to 1. And it's Sepp Straka, and you're making the case for him again. So you're going to go top 5, top 10, top 20 with him, and to win it outright a little bit on that. Did you say the same thing for Thigala? He's your pick to win, but are you going to go top 5, top 10, top 20 across the board with him as well?
I am, yeah. Those are the two guys I'm going to play every place at market and outright with. And then the others like Day and those guys I'll play to win, and then top 20.
So here's the deal. Again, to begin the golf season, we've had a 200 to 1 win it. That was Christian Kirk. We had Grayson Murray win as high as 525 to 1. And then last week as well with Dunlap, the 20-year-old, he was between 300 and 525 to 1. It's a bonkers. Who's going to have these guys, right? Books aren't writing many tickets, as I've said this week. So with that in mind, do you have a long shot or two that you want to target in on for this event?
Yeah, guys, my bomb of the week is Taylor Pendrith, who's 100 to 1. I think he's fascinating this week. Solid results here, 16th and 60th in 2 trips. So he's made the cut with a 16th place finish. And he really has what I would call extreme form. He's either inside the top 10 or misses the cut. That's what he does. In his last 11 events, Pendrith has 4 top 10s and a T15, and he has 6 missed cuts. So the ultimate sink or swim play. There's a lot to like about him this week, though, guys. Like, his recent form is good. He's gained in every key category over his last 20 rounds, and his long iron game is very strong. 4th in the field from 150 to 200 yards. Poa putting isn't great, but it's positive. Slight gainer off the tee. I think given the price, he's an easy bomb to add to the card. I bet him plus 330, top 20. And I bet him 100 to 1 outright. And then another guy I would look at in the outright market, local, went to Torrey Pines High School, Michael Kim, grades out well, playing well lately. I think he's another guy you can look at as a bomb. All
right, follow Jeff on X. He's at Cupmaker Jeff, and also the Cupmaker Pod is back this week. You can get it at iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Who do you have on the pod this week, Jeff?
We got my buddy Will Haskett. You'll hear him all the time on PGA Tour Radio. He's on the course reporter, and he'll be doing the broadcast again this week on PGA Tour Radio.
All right, pal. Great analysis as always. Thanks for the time. Best of luck.
All right, fellas. Take care.
Yep, there you go. So that starts today. We get the Farmers Insurance. Jeff with a bunch of bets that he likes for the week, avoiding Schauffele other than maybe some matchups that he can find, but he's going to start his card with Jason Day and Tony Finau in that range. He doesn't really want to play any of the guys in that 9, 10, 12 to 1 range for this event. We'll get into tonight's card coming up next. It's a good card in the NBA and a marquee game in college basketball as well. So the Bucks fired their head coach, Adrian Griffin, yesterday. They're going to turn around, get the Cavs right away tonight. That lead in their division has shrunk big time over recent weeks. And there's another team playing tonight at home where they're 14-5 to the over on the season. I'll tell you who that is coming up here. Follow the money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, with a great offer for new customers. Bet $5 in any game, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the app now, use code VSiN. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, code VSiN. The crown is yours.
All right, so looking at tonight's NBA card, and a really good game in college basketball. The Bucks fired their head coach, Adrian Griffin, yesterday, so they tip it off tonight in Milwaukee at 7 o'clock local time. Bucks are laying 6.5 in the game. Shop around for the total because it's between 235.5 and 236.5. Any particular way to handicap this? We've seen teams in every sport going back several years. Once they fire a head coach, they kind of like zoom up and they ascend. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers are a perfect example right now in the NHL. What happened to that team after they fired their head coach?
Islanders won their first game with Waugh.
That's correct.
But
lost their second.
Yeah, well, they might come out and have a great performance, but I'm not sold that anything's going to change defensively. I mean, until Doc gets in there as well and comes in, I think they'd still come out and it's going to be a crazy pace, frenetic pace, and could be high scoring as well. Full marks to the Cavs, by the way, for being in this thing, playing good ball, and dealing with a ton of injuries. But I don't want the under here.
I kind of do.
No way. Really? Okay.
Look at recent Cavaliers scores. Against Atlanta, high-scoring team, 116-95. They played the Bucks. That was no Giannis, 135-95. They killed them. San Antonio, they played zero defense, 117-115. Washington, 114-90. The night, 2 nights before that against Washington, it did go. It was high-scoring. It was 140-101. That's this month alone. They played in games against some high-flying teams, and
what if I dictate pace though?
Well, if the Cavaliers do, then it's
if the Bucks dictate pace and I don't defend anyways. I mean, I'm 22nd in defensive efficiency.
Right.
That I'll get you into my type of game, and certainly I just scored 135 against you.
I just wonder if it completely flips overnight, and like Lopez and everybody's talking like, yeah, we're going to go back to what we were like last year. I'm going to man the paint now, and I'm not going to be chasing around the perimeter for an entire game. No, they could. I mean, it's not that long ago. They have the muscle memory. I mean, that's how they played for the last 4 years, basically. And they got rid of that idea, this whole season. It's also a 6. The Cavaliers are good, man. So 6.5, that number to me, I don't think I really want to touch. This is the game I'm interested in. Suns are playing at the Mavericks. As we speak, Suns are as high as 2.5, total is 240.5. Luka Doncic is listed as questionable for the game. The Suns are 15-26 with 2 pushes, ATS, second worst in the league. Mavs 23-20. I need to remind you of this. Luka on Christmas night against this team, 44 minutes.
Oh, boy.
50 points, 15 assists, 6 rebounds. He was 15-25 from the floor, 8 made threes. The Mavs won that game 128-114. Last year in the regular season, he had 33, 34, and 35 points. He played in a 4th game, but he was hurt 3 minutes in, left the game, didn't come back. He averaged almost 33 points per game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists in the 2022 playoffs. That's when the Suns were the 1 seed. The Mavericks killed him in Game 7 in Phoenix. Luka hates Devin Booker, and the feeling is mutual. And this goes back to the trash talking Booker decided to do to Luka, and now Luka never forgets that. I mean, it's a thing.
I know, but I can't get a read on Dallas. It doesn't make any sense. They've won games without Luka. They've lost games against the depleted teams when they're playing guys. You had the Hardaway Kyrie performance last week, and they went off. Phoenix now is starting a 7-game road trip. This is big. Clippers also starting a long road trip too, by the way. But it comes back to no depth and who can you count on if one of the big 3 don't go off. Durant's been playing good ball. Suns, they've been winning games here, but rabbit out of the hat, 2 of the games. You're down 23 against the Bulls, you win. You're down 22 in the 4th quarter against the Kings, you win. So I just think it's going to be a ton of points. I would want the over in this game, but, I mean, side's difficult.
Yeah.
Because I can't get a read on Dallas. This one's too tough, but a great matchup again here, and it's just going to be wild to see what happens with these seedings and what some of these matchups are come playoff time in the West.
I don't see any props as of right now due to his status on Luka. They're up for everybody else. No Kyrie Irving either. He's also questionable in this game. Booker's 26.5 with the points. Beal's 19.5. Durant's been on fire. He's also 28.5.
They are buying into Vogel too. I was listening to Brian Windhorst's podcast about they're in early, they're studying film, they're trying everything they can to get this fixed defensively, and Vogel wants this to be a strong defensive unit as well. Certainly it worked when he was with the Lakers and they won the title in the bubble as he preaches defense. But that remains to be seen come playoff time, and again, if they have such a big injury. Can you believe the Pistons are favored? They are 4-39, but with the Hornets making the Rozier trade, and now they're going to deal Bridges as well. I mean, this is, and I think I'd have to go Pistons here. I can't believe I'm saying it, but this is where the win's coming from, right? It goes back to that prop. Are you going to set the record? Will they win 10 games?
You can find other games to bet on, I think.
Oh, come on. Because this is...
They just beat the Wolves.
Yeah.
Charlotte
okay.
did.
Yeah. I think the line's telling you something, though, too.
I know.
I mean, Pride has to. Now, they beat Washington. That was funny. Kuzma tweeted a couple weeks ago, don't be that team that loses. Mm-hmm. And then they got beat to the pit by the Pistons. But the only win this month has been Washington. And they hung in there against Milwaukee and Minnesota. But it's Charlotte tonight. It's Washington at home. If you don't get these two games, or at least one of them, find me the wins. How are you going to get to 10 wins? And you're going to set your record here for futility. I like the Pistons.
You going to play a money line or minus the 3?
How cheap's the money line?
Oh,
$1.40 only?
Yeah.
Yeah, go money line, yeah.
All right.
So you're not on board at all? Okay.
Well, maybe you could
I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's hilarious that they're favored.
Well, I know.
But then again, Charlotte had the big win, but I think it said it was more about what happened with Minnesota and how they disrespected the game and just weren't playing basketball at all. I can't believe that. Everyone's involved in the blame for that. You're asking the assistant coaches for updates in the third quarter. What's Embiid doing? We want Kat to have more points than him.
How did they know that Embiid was going off?
They were told at halftime.
From who?
Probably someone in the locker room.
They probably checked their cell phones at halftime.
I'm sure that happened
what
too.
Was going on.
Yeah, that probably also happened. But that's ridiculous. I mean, and you blow the 18-point lead, and you got one guy taking all the shots, and you screw around and get beat.
Okay, so Oklahoma City, it's a back-to-back for this team. They're playing at the Spurs. Oklahoma City, again, that game is under protest from last night. If you missed it, Portland thinks they got absolutely screwed, and they did. They lost the game. They were up by 3 with not much time left, and it came down to Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Blazers, getting tossed in the game. Double technicals, long story. They missed a timeout by the referees. Brogdon was scratched in the face. He was bleeding. They missed all of it, right? So Oklahoma City wins. They're playing on the road against the Spurs tonight. Now, Oklahoma City is the best team still ATS in the NBA. They're 28-14-1. The Spurs are under 500. However, they've covered 3 straight and 9 of 11. Now, last night's game did not give a lot of points. I was surprised by that, how low it was with the Thunder and the Blazers. Tonight's game has a total of 241.5 in that range.
The Spurs can't stop anything.
The Thunder are 25-17 over in all their games on the year. And the Spurs are 14-5 over at home. And you're right, horrendous defense across the board. I mean, they just gave up 70 to Embiid.
Yeah. Well, they hung in there, though, and they got the money, which getting lost in that performance, Wembanyama had 33. But it's just a joke defensively. And this season, I'm shocked by what's transpired in San Antonio, how bad they are. And they just can't get any stops. So it's always a perilous trade with the back-to-back. But, I don't want the Spurs here. No way.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do with the Warriors either.
That one's tough, too.
You just want to blindly bet them in the first half and say, I'm going to bet on human emotion tonight. Haven't played since MLK Day. Assistant coach died pretty much at a team dinner right in front of them. They've talked about how Steve Kerr said this is the saddest thing he's ever experienced in the NBA.
Yep.
Curry said his leadership has been unbelievable. Do they come out? You know how you hear this after the game, right? Players always say, we played it for him. This game was for him.
I know, but still you have the Russ factor, too.
Yeah.
Right. How about the Portland angle? Now, they're in Houston. Mm-hmm. They're coming off that emotional loss and losing their minds, and rightfully so. Houston is great at home. They're lousy on the road.
That's been the story all year long.
And they're right. That's a big number tonight, too. So I would think that could be a ton of points because Houston has been high scoring at home. I think they get whatever they want, too, against Portland.
By money coming in on the Suns, they're up to 2.5.
Well, maybe somebody doesn't play.
I mean, I'm guessing they're thinking that.
Has to be.
I could not bet the Suns if Luka plays in this game. I couldn't do it. I know the Suns are playing better. However, we cannot ignore the huge deficits they had to rally from in these recent games.
I know. All good points. Absolutely. I'm with you.
All right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Up next, some NFL. Ben Raven covers the Lions with the Dungeon of Doom podcast in Detroit. Is the offensive game plan going to be a heavy dose of Montgomery and Gibbs on the ground? You can run on the 49ers. We'll ask him about that coming up next here on VSiN.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.